Super Bowl champion, and an NCAA All-American joins us. Dennis, welcome back to the show, man. Happy Stranger Things Day.
Thank you, guys. I'm not sure what Stranger Things is, but I know Jerem's into that sci-fi stuff. I'm not quite into that.
It's not just the nerds, Dennis. It's the regular peoples, too. You haven't seen Stranger Things on Netflix, obviously. I invite you to watch it. It is very good.
All right, I'll have to check it out. I mean, I don't typically take recommendations from you. I don't think we see eye to eye on a lot of things, but I'll have to check it out.
Dennis, BYU football 1-7. San Jose State 1-7. What are you expecting in tomorrow's matchup?
I was expecting to talk BYU basketball today. I didn't think we were still talking BYU football.
We'll get there.
All right. What do I expect? Well, listen, we're a 14-point favorite. Am I right on that?
That is correct.
Yes.
So, I mean, listen, if we're a 14-point favorite sitting at 1-7 in the way we've played all year, then San Jose State has to be really, really bad. And I haven't watched San Jose State this year. I don't know too much about them. But with that spread, it looks like, we got a fighting shot in this one. So it'll be a fun game.
Yeah, we hope it's fun. BYU hasn't won in like 63 days, which is crazy. Do you expect BYU to win tomorrow, given everything that's gone on? Last week, BYU's a fave, lost on the road. Do you expect BYU to win tomorrow?
I absolutely expect them to win. I mean, I said this last week when I was talking with the A team. You guys are kind of the B squad they've rolled back out. It was Jason and Brian last week. But I said, listen, I expect us to beat ECU because I thought we would. You go against the nation's worst defense, and I said this is the best our offense will look. And unfortunately, it still didn't look very good. But we're coming to this game. San Jose State has had a tough run as a program, and I just think there's no way we lose this game. I think they're too motivated. For whatever reason, this 1-7 start, I think, is starting to kind of unify and galvanize this team a little bit. You saw that when players and coaches were all at the Coach Satake show, and so it's one of those things where you just feel like they're going to finally put it together and get a win, get the monkey off their back, and hopefully get rolling from there.
Dennis Pitta with us on BYU Sports Nation. Dennis, if you are a BYU player right now, would you ignore the noise surrounding the program entirely from fans, media, former players, or would you indulge in it a bit and use it as motivation?
Well, you can't ignore it, that's for sure. I think it's there's too much out there, and as these guys are so active on social media now, and you see a lot of players responding and tweeting things out and all that, there's no way to ignore that noise. They're too involved in that stuff. And so you have to just kind of put it aside as a player, compartmentalize everything. And as a player, you don't worry about what fans say. You know what they say, but they're not in the locker room. They're not dealing with the coaches. They're not in the meeting room. They're not on the practice field. They don't necessarily know, and we don't know. We talk about BYU football each week, but we really don't know the conversations that are being had within those walls and what's really being said, who's being held accountable, or if there are or not, what players are stepping up and what aren't in the leadership role. It's just so hard to judge this team from what we've seen at this point. So, as a player, you compartmentalize those things. You understand what your job is and what you have to do, and understand that you have the guys in your room and in that locker room that you play for and nobody else.
BYU has gone, 100% in on Tanner Mangum. Last week, I thought Joe Critchlow could play, given the way the offense was struggling at some point against the nation's worst defense, and he did not. So it looks like Tanner's the guy. But if Bo Hodge is healthy and could somehow play, let's say tomorrow, do you think Bo Hodge should have a shot at quarterback for BYU right now?
I hate to say this because, I played with Parker Mangum. He's a good friend of mine, and I know Tanner really well, but unfortunately, it just has not been there this year, and I don't understand why. We know the potential and talent he has, but it's one of those things where this offense needs a spark, and Tanner's not providing it right now, and you have to look in the mirror and say, who can provide us the spark? And it's been Bo. Bo looked really good in that Utah State game, minus one pick six, which bounces off a defender's helmet or shoulder pad, and one of those freak plays. But he provided a spark. He gives you more in the run game and a little bit more dynamic feel in and out of the pocket. And so I just don't know how you stay with what's what you've been doing. I mean, you talk about insanity. What's the definition? Doing things over and over again and expecting a different result, and the result has been the same every time they've had Tanner in there. And so at some point you have to make a change. I think Bo is definitely the answer. And if he's not, go to Critchlow. What do you have to lose at this point? I think you need to look to the future. As disappointing as that sounds right now, this season is about building for next year, because you sit at 1-7. There's not a whole lot to attain this year.
NCAA All-American tight end Dennis Pitta, Super Bowl champion with the Baltimore Ravens, with us on BYU Sports Nation. Dennis, what is the strangest thing you expect to see tomorrow in the San Jose State at BYU football game?
I expect to see our offense put up a bunch of points, and that would be strange to see. So that's kind of what I expect. And whoever that quarterback is in that spot, hopefully they get things going and rolling and this offense looks good. But that would be a strange thing tomorrow if I saw it.
Matt Bushman has been a bright spot for BYU this season. You get asked about him a lot, so let's ask one more question. How would you assess Matt Bushman's play this year?
Matt Bushman is a guy with a ton of potential, and we haven't necessarily been able to see the full gambit of what he's capable of this year because he hasn't had anybody get him the football. And I don't think he's been a focal point for this offense for whatever reason, and I don't think he should have been. I think he needs to get 10, 11, 12 targets a game, to be honest, because when you look at those skill positions on our team right now, I don't see a lot of talent outside of Bushman or a lot of guys that are making plays. And Bushman early on made a bunch of great catches. He makes contested catches every week, but he's not getting the opportunities like I think he should be. And so he's a player that's going to be a huge impact guy for this offense and for years to come. And I think we need to get him more involved this year. And it's weird and kind of unfortunate that we haven't seen that so far.
I was thinking about this the other day, but I can't recall a play all season long where I have thought, oh, Matt Bushman just didn't really make a good play right there. I can't remember one. Has there been anything to cause you concern about his ability to be a good football player, Dennis?
No, not at all. And I think when you see the ball come his way, he's making tough catches. He's got really good hands, and you see his ability to snag the ball and have a wide catch radius. He's got soft hands. I mean, he catches with his hands, which I think is important. He's not a body catcher, and that's something I always look for when a guy is out there playing. But listen, I think, like I said, I just think he needs more opportunities. And he's a guy that's proven he can make plays when you give him a chance. I think all the way back to when, Spencer, you and I were sitting at the first game of the year against Portland State, and they threw a deep ball over the middle, and he was completely covered. But he went up and made a great, high catch over a defender and looked tremendous. I mean, you got to put him in more situations like that. Split him out. Get him one-on-one with a safety or even a corner and throw him a fade ball or something vertical down the sideline. I just think you have to be more creative with how we're using him, and I just haven't seen that yet this year.
When a bowl is not in question and you know it's going to be a losing season, yet you're trying to be motivated and whatnot, and you've been on some really good teams. There were some teams that struggled in college and the NFL and whatnot. You have the good with the bad. What's it like being on a team like that, and how do you stay motivated? How are these BYU guys supposed to stay motivated right now?
Well, it's not easy, and I'll give you an example. So last year, we were right in the hunt for the playoffs. Week 16, we played the Pittsburgh Steelers on Christmas Day, and we had the game won at the end, and then they drove down with under a minute left, and Antonio Brown caught the ball on the one and reached across the goal line, and we were knocked out of the playoffs Week 16. There was no chance we would have made it. So we go into Week 17, we play the Cincinnati Bengals. We had nothing to play for. And as a player, I've never been in that position where there was nothing to play for. We couldn't win the division. We couldn't go to the playoffs. We just knew it was our last game. And you have no motivation. And it was really a strange – I wish I had an answer to this question. What I'm trying to get at is I have no idea how to handle it because we went into Cincinnati and we got our butts kicked the last week, and you just felt it was strange because you have no motivation and nothing to play for. And unfortunately, that's kind of what this team is up against a little bit. But one thing I will say is you're prideful as a football player. And when you go against somebody, you don't want to lose. And these guys are competitors, and that's what's going to drive them to finish the season out strong, and especially for the seniors who this is their last year. You don't want to end on a losing note. And so they're going to go out and play hard. Hopefully everybody plays for them.
Dennis, what's the best part about broadcasting a 40-0 win for the Ravens?
Not much. Well, it's great to be able to talk positively about your team. That's for sure. Better than getting beat 44-7 like we did in London against the Jacksonville Jaguars. But the whole fourth quarter, it's pretty boring. You got to come up and make up a bunch of content and stuff. And
we know about that.
Yeah, you guys listen. I listened to you guys in the Cougar tip-off. You did a great job.
Thanks, man.
Thank you, Dennis.
I watched that game. I streamed it on YouTube.
That a baby.
Nice.
Dude, you know what else you can stream? Stranger Things on Netflix, bro.
As a matter of fact, I'll tell you this. I'm playing golf right now. I'm out on the golf course with Mike Rose. You remember Mike Rose?
Oh, Mike
yeah.
Rose. What up?
For BYU basketball?
Oh,
Sharpshooter.
Of course we do.
So,
of course we do. What hole are you on?
I'll tell him hi for you.
Okay.
Do it. Yeah. What hole are you on?
I'm on the second hole, and you guys are really hampering my game. I've had to.
Are you in the tee box?
Play through. We were on the tee box. I'm walking up to the green. They played this hole. I've been talking to you guys. So.
Okay, Dennis, we get your message. We'll let you putt. Okay.
In other words, I need to go. I got to get out of here.
Are you actually on the green, or are you chipping on?
I'm walking down the fairway right now.
Okay, tell how many swings have you had during this conversation?
I've had zero swings during this conversation. I'm still holding my driver. I didn't get to hit my drive off the tee box, so.
Okay.
I'm having to skip the hole, unfortunately, and I'm doing it for you guys. I want you to know
we appreciate it.
How difficult that was, but
sacrifices.
It's all for you guys.
Thank you, Dennis. We are forever indebted to you. Hey, great to talk to you, man. And hopefully the next time we talk, BYU football has 2 wins on the resume.
All right, I hope so. Thanks, guys.